Hey guys, today we're filming a first impressions on a kind of old foundation actually. This is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation. Very, very popular. It's this guy right here. This foundation is typically recommended for people with oily skin, or at least that is the consensus that I've made just from watching YouTube videos of people who've tried this. And I would say that people would compare this to the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. As far as price goes, this is kind of like your typical like higher end foundation, and I lost the receipt somewhere, but I think it was around 50, 55 Canadian dollars. You do get the typical 30 milliliters, and it also has SPF in it. SPF 15. So the claims of this foundation say up to 24 hours of comfort and transfer resistant wear. Never cakey, full coverage. Oh, all right, so let's get this on my face. It says to shake well. And I'm gonna be using a Eco Tool sponge on one half. And on the other side, I'm gonna be using my Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush. So I got this foundation in the shade 140 Ivory Neutral. And there are paler shades than this, but they just looked way too pink. I think there was a shade called 90 and another one called 100. And they just looked very, very pink. The pumps I feel like are pretty small pumps. That is the color, by the way, and I will show some swatches of this beside other foundations as well.
Hi guys, I just wanted to press pause for a second and let you know that I ended up exchanging this shade 140 for a lighter one. So near the end of this video, I give you kind of an update and I apply the new shade that I bought. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
All right, so this looks kind of crazy right now. This is the Lancome foundation that I'm trying today in the shade 140 Ivory Neutral. Looks very, very orange swatched. I feel like it's not quite as bad when it's blended out, but yeah, definitely too dark. This is NARS Sheer Glow in Siberia. Quite a lot more yellow toned, much more pale. And this is Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in 110. Let's try the sponge first. By the way, I have no primer on, so I'm not going to be doing a wear test today because I'm actually not really doing anything today. And I prefer to do a wear test if I can on work days so that I can wear it for a full work day. I know most of you guys have jobs just like me. So I'm going to be wearing this foundation tomorrow all day. So I'm going to be sharing with you my wear test results from tomorrow. I'm not going to be wearing a primer or a powder for my wear test just because I want to be able to see how the foundation wears on its own, and I want to keep the Estee Lauder Double Wear in mind just because I feel like there is so much comparison for this one. And the Double Wear foundation, I don't have to powder and it lasts me like all day with barely any oil at all. It looks very, very natural, very second skin-like. I really like it the way that it looks with a sponge, but I will try a brush as well. The foundation is spreading a lot farther with the brush, and I also feel like the brush is giving slightly better coverage. I mean, that's no surprise. I feel like that's usually the case. I'm not sure that I love that it gives more coverage though, just because it makes the color stand out a little bit more. It's a little bit more obvious that it's too dark. I really like this brush. The tip is kind of pointed right here because I can literally get right under my eyes with it. Okay, so here it is applied to my full face. I mean, it looks really, really good. It looks very, very natural. I don't feel like I can see the layer of foundation on my face. It's not really bringing out any like baby hairs or texture. It just looks very, very smooth. It is definitely matte, but I mean, like, I feel like my skin doesn't look flat or powdery either. Like, there is like that natural, just like when the light hits it. I mean, it looks really good. The color, I mean, I definitely have to blend it down my neck pretty far, but I mean, it's not like insanely too dark. I think you can probably tell on my hand where I had the foundation. Like, that looks really good on my nose and around my nose. Let's check the forehead situation. I mean, yeah, it looks Looks really good. It's like totally dry to the touch as well, and that I really appreciate. This is great. Usually when foundations are like less great, I have a lot more to say, but I just think the results kind of speak for itself. I really love the coverage. I would say it's not full coverage, it's more of a medium coverage. I didn't notice it being like overly scented either, so I appreciate that. I don't love heavily scented products unless it smells like candy, then for some reason I'm super into it. Okay, well I guess that's my first impression of it. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a full wear test tomorrow on a work day, so I'll be showing you what it looks like when I first apply it and I have some other makeup on, and then as well as I'll show you what it looks like after a full like probably be 9.5 hours by the time I get home of like actual daily wear. If this holds up better or as good as my Estee Lauder Double Wear, I think that I would prefer this one over it because I find that this one looks more natural. All right, so now we're gonna roll the clip for my wear test. Guys, this is the start of my wear test for this Lancome foundation, and I have to say it looks pretty good today. But yeah, I mean, it looks very nice, looks very matte. I'm not wearing any powder, and I'm also not wearing any primer, just moisturizer. So we will see what this looks like after a full work day. So I will be back later to show you how it looks and how well it holds up on my pretty oily skin. By the way, this lip color is by Sigma. I really, really love their liquid lip formula, and I forget the name of it, but I'll link it down below. Hey guys, it is just after 6 o'clock, and I've been wearing this foundation since like 7:30 this morning, so a full day of work. And let's see how it looks. I'm gonna bring this down a little. Okay, there we go. Like I mentioned yesterday in my first impressions, I think a lot of people compare this foundation to the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I don't know how exactly I feel about that, because I think that although it kind of acts like Estee Lauder Double Wear, I do think it's a much lighter weight version, and I also think that in terms of oil control, the Estee Lauder Double Wear is better. So it's probably a little bit hard to see because I have to use a ring light right now because it is almost like totally dark outside, but I am actually more shiny right now than I would be if I was wearing the Estee Lauder Double Wear. But that being said, it lasted as long as the Estee Lauder Double Wear. So for example, like my blush is still really on there. Like I don't find that it faded too badly in most areas. And on the plus side, it actually looks better than the Double Wear foundation at the end of the night. It lasted all day and it does not look cakey. It didn't separate. It didn't do anything funny. So I'm actually really happy with it. I also really like that it did not settle like badly into my lines, which I find that a lot of my other foundations, including the Double Wear, and I don't mean to keep bringing that one up, I just feel like it's the most comparable. Yeah, I feel like the Double Wear and a lot of other foundations really sink in and create a heavy line in my creases, but this one did not. Guys, this is kind of a random update to this Lancome review. I actually ended up returning, or well, exchanging the shade that I have done this review on. So I had done this review with the shade 140, and I think I could still get away with it, but it just really was a little bit too dark and a little bit too orange for me. So I did end up going back and I exchanged it for this one, and I figured that I might as well just put this on today just so you guys can see the difference in the shades, and I'll also include a swatch of this as well. So I ended up getting the shade 90 Ivory Neutral, and this is the lightest shade. Very pale, definitely pretty neutral, but not leaning warm at all. So I'm gonna be applying with just an oval brush today because that is what's clean. It still has the same nice, like natural matte finish, obviously just a different shade. I think in general, this is probably a little bit better for me. I think it looks a little bit pale and a little bit too cool for me, but with bronzer and blush and everything. Plus I know this foundation oxidizes a little bit, so it's probably gonna get darker pretty soon. Like I feel like it blended into my hand pretty well. But yeah, I just wanted to include this little shade update. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can. I put up new videos every single week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.